What is up? Semifinals. We're here. Hammer, what's up?
Yes, sir. We are here, and I have both of my teams that made the playoffs, one bye week, and one big dynasty win. The champ is not dead yet. I am still alive in Dynasty. It was tough, though. I got 175 dropped on my ass in Dynasty, and it took me 185. So it wasn't an easy win, but it was a good win nonetheless. It took all of Monday night to get it, but it was a good win, and I got two teams in the semifinals. I'll take it.
Yeah, well, we're going to talk about pretty much everything that went down on Sunday. A lot of people scored that nobody needed to score in a lot of games. But we'll go over some of that also. But we've got a dynasty roster to review.
All right.
So let me pull that up so we can dig into that. And hopefully everybody can see that up there. Hammer, can you see that all right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So this is from Jack, and asked us to do a little dynasty roster review for him. So in this particular format, it's a 1 QB league. It's only start 7, so it's only 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end, and 1 flex.
Okay.
12 teams, half PPR, and then like I said, one QB. So I guess let's look at we'll look at each individual room, and we'll look at who we can drop and who we kind of wouldn't want to trade, who's our kind of centerpieces, and then we'll kind of go over what kind of moves I guess we can make here. Let's look at some of the picks real quick. So in 2023, he has no first for 2023. He has 1 second, he has 1 third, he's got 2 fourths, and in 2024 and 25. He's got all of his picks there. At the startup of this league, he traded Jamal Williams and a 2023 third for Zamir White and a 2023 fourth, swapping the handcuffs with the Swift owner. And he says that didn't really work out.
No, and just really quick before we get going here, Jack, I drafted Zamir White in my rookie draft because I'm in the same boat as you. I have Josh Jacobs, and I drafted Zamir White. And it didn't work out this year, but I wouldn't look at that as a fail if you're talking about Dynasty, just because obviously they didn't pick up Jacobs' 5th-year option. They may sign him next year. They may not. It depends. But I wouldn't look at that as a didn't work out kind of scenario. We talk about this all the time where you're basically 1 or 2 running back injuries away from him being able to be relevant. Say Eli Mitchell is a perfect example of why you can't just give up on a running back on his rookie deal for that specific reason. So I wouldn't call that a didn't work out. A little disappointing we didn't see him, but I wouldn't call that a didn't work out. You were just trying to really cover your ass in a sense. And I did the exact same thing in our dynasty draft, in our rookie draft, because we already are a year in. So this past, whenever we had the draft, July, August, whatever, I drafted Zamir White as well, but I'm still holding on to him no matter what.
I mean, Zamir White, obviously the handcuff, the backup to Jacob. So I guess, he was kind of necessary at the time, and maybe it didn't work out so far. But that's the thing about Dynasty. Like Hammer said, sometimes it doesn't just happen right off the bat. I mean, he was a 4th round pick coming out. So, I mean, they didn't spend a ton on him. So But even still, I mean, he's got a chance to give you, spot starts here and there. It needs an injury to happen, but it's good to have those kind of guys where they're, one injury away from, giving you a start if you need it. This is such a shallow league that you might not ever really need to actually start him unless, of course, Jacobs is down and you've got no better option. So, he's always, a good guy to have, obviously, on the bench there. So yeah, I wouldn't say it didn't work out because probably weren't playing Jamal Williams anyway with some of the guys that you have on the team. I mean, maybe in the flex, I guess you could have.
I think
But
that's why he has Abdullah as well, because of Zamir White not really being.
yeah,
I mean, listen, the way Josh Jacobs is playing, nobody's really going to be effective behind him this year anyway. So, but one injury, one whatever away, and Jacobs has been banged up here, but it looks like he's going to be able to gut it out through the rest of the playoffs. So I wouldn't be as concerned with that as maybe you seem, I guess.
yeah. And then he also, before the Brees Hall injury, he traded Debo and Elijah Mitchell. I don't think CMC was on the team at that time, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Y'all can fact check that or correct me if I'm wrong. And he gave up a 23 first. So Debo, Mitchell, and the 23 first for CD. I spelled that wrong. My bad. CD, Brees Hall, and a 2023 third. What do you think about that, Hammer?
I actually love that, to be honest with you, because CD obviously has a way higher ceiling than Debo at this point, considering everything they had there in San Francisco and the uncertainty at quarterback going into next year. Even if it is Trey Lance, I don't love Debo's upside with Trey Lance at quarterback. And then really Eli Mitchell and Brees Hall kind of canceled each other out. And Brees Hall is going to be the better upside guy, even if he has a Saquon Barkley kind of trajectory where it might take him a year and a half before he gets fully back in the groove. But I love that trade.
Yeah, I love that trade as well. That's a beautiful trade. Definitely worth giving up the first, especially in this particular format where you're not starting a lot of guys. So having those big studs are really important. All right, let's get into the QB room. So only one QB, but he's got Fields, he's got Tannenhill, Lamar Jackson, and
Matt Corral. Yeah.
What do you think about his QB room there?
Yeah, it's solid. Obviously, the two highlights here are Fields and Lamar. And to be honest, when I was first just looking at this, when you were doing the intro, I was like, oh, you could trade one of those guys. But to be honest with you, I probably wouldn't unless I got blown away because of the injury risk to both of these guys because they're running quarterbacks. So I'm thinking you hold on to both of them because the rest of your roster is so good. You don't have to purge one of those. Like I said, unless you get blown away, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And then he's got Tannenhill and Corral as well. Matt Corral, you can just drop. I mean, there's no that's just wasting a roster spot. It's a 1 QB league.
Yeah, I agree. You could drop Corral.
You got Fields and Jackson, so I think you definitely can drop him. I don't mind holding on to Fields and Lamar, like Polish said, because like you said, if one of them gets hurt, but also not only that, you're actually just kind of, you're saturating the market. Like if people are in need of a QB, like you've got two, top 10 guys. So,
yep.
Just hold on to that for now. If you're ever stuck or down the line, you can always get rid of one of those guys if you need to, but you might really not need to in this particular format with not a lot of starters. So I would just kind of hold on to both of those guys.
Yeah, I agree. And like I said, unless you get absolutely blown away with an offer, like, if somebody offers you like a Jamar Chase or a Justin Jefferson type trade for a Lamar Jackson, or something along those lines where you just have to take it because, you're just getting an absolute stud guy. then I would go ahead and do that. But really, outside of getting blown away, I would hold on to both of these guys.
Those are both guys you want to keep and just build around that. That's going to be your QB room. Or at least you've got that set for the future. You don't have to worry about that anytime. So, Jackson, what up, Jackson? Sick of fantasy.
Tell us what
That
happened,
doesn't
Jackson.
that doesn't sound good. But
No, what
we'll
happened,
talk
dog?
about we'll talk about it after we finish this little dynasty roster review here. 120 to 194. Oof, looks like you got your shit kicked in, brother. But yeah, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. All right, let's get to this RB room real quick. So
Okay,
he's got Jacobs and JT.
that's
And
nice.
if I'm not mistaken, I think he said he was in first place and he's going for the ship. So we're
That's
not,
kind of
he's
what
not
this team
making.
looks like. Yeah.
So he's not making any trades right now. Obviously it'll be after the season. We'll talk about that afterwards. But he's got Jacobs, JT, McKinnon, Abdullah, Knight, White, and Brees Hall. What do you think about the RB room?
Yeah, it's really solid, but a little bit of uncertainty. I obviously having Brees Hall is awesome. And I could see why you probably got off to a really good start because you had Brees Hall and Josh Jacobs. And then obviously JT kind of came on a little strong once Jeff Saturday took over. But Brees Hall, JT is hurt now, which really thins out your running back room. So I would imagine he's rolling Jacobs and McKinnon out there or Bam Knight, really depending on how you feel that particular week and the matchup.
Hopefully he's still in it and didn't lose last. Well, if he was in first, he probably had to buy, so he might be good.
Right. So I mean, if you look at the names just straight up for what they are, you really like it. But then if you take a little bit of a deeper dive, you're like, damn, in terms of dynasty and how it projects out, obviously Brees Hall with the significant injury, we don't know how long it's going to take him to get back to, what we saw at the beginning of the season. And then Josh Jacobs, man, he's been really, really, really awesome. And the fact that you don't know where he's going to go next year or what's going to happen to him or what system he's going to be in or, whatever the landscape of his situation looks like next year, it's going to be really tough. So I like the running back room from a namesake standpoint, but probably a little bit of work to be done maybe in the off season or with a draft pick or something like that. But it's tough sledding just because of the injuries. And then obviously we don't know what's going to happen with Jacobs.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I agree 100%. So is there anybody that you are dropping out of this running back room? Anyone he can just kind of get rid of after the season?
Not really, to be honest with you, just because, injuries really hit you pretty hard. So I would drop Corral. Honestly, we talked about that.
Yeah, well, for the RBs.
Yeah, but I'm saying if you drop Corral, that frees up a spot where you don't have to worry about dropping any of these running backs because they could all be used in situational spots depending on injuries, right? McKinnon really got hot down the stretch, so you obviously you have to hold on to him, Abdullah, he's essentially the handcuff to Jacobs right now. Zamir White really doesn't get a ton of work with Jacobs, so you kind of want to hold on to both of those guys. And then if you have Brees Hall, you need to kind of hold on to Bam Knight till you see what they do in the offseason. So I would hold on to all of these guys, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, for the RBs, I'm okay with after the season. At least you can trash Abdullah. Yeah, he's on a 1-year deal. I don't see him as being the main backup to anybody next year. So I'm okay with trashing him, save that roster spot. McKinnon, like you said, you're keeping just because you don't know what the Chiefs are going to do. They most likely will get some RBs, but just in case they don't and he finds himself in a situation
and he's on he's on such a good offense that you're like, listen, if he finds himself back on the Chiefs, he's worth rostering regardless.
Yeah, so you can keep him. Knight as well, you can keep him. He'll be the number 3, but he'll be the number 2 until Brees Hall is back, basically. I mean, you've kind of got Knight and Carter there are going to be the guys unless they get somebody. But I doubt it with Brees Hall. Should be coming back next year. I think he got hurt early enough where he might be able to start the season. We don't know, of course, how good he's going to look, but we'll see what happens there. And yeah, White you're keeping. So that's good. Are there any of these guys that you are absolutely not trading away in the RB room?
No, not necessarily. Just because, I mean, Jonathan Taylor is another year older. He was banged up this year. He's probably never ever going to replicate what he did last year. So you're probably looking at diminishing returns anyway. Now you could see if you could trade him on namesake and see if somebody gets desperate and offers you up, for hypothetical purposes, who would be a good, young RB that you would go out and get rid of JT for. Maybe not even an RB. Maybe you trade him for a wide receiver. Maybe you trade him for a stud tight end. Maybe you trade him for Pitts and a second round or first round pick if somebody's willing to do it. Something like that. So Jonathan Taylor would be the guy, or Jacobs, really, for that matter. He's got a lot of miles on his body. I know he's still fairly young. He's only going to be 25 next year, but he's got a lot of miles and he's starting to be banged up a little more consistently. So there's no RB that I'm not trading. Even Breece Hall, if somebody wants to give you something for Breece Hall, that's going to blow you away. 2 first-round picks or something like that. I would certainly consider it. So there's nobody that is a do not trade as far as the RB goes. And just because you can dip into the draft, as we've seen, if you have a top 5, top 6 first round draft pick and go get a Breece Hall or somebody like that coming out of college. You know what I mean? So I don't think RBs really ever should be not available for trade if you're on a dynasty team, just because, like I said, you could go into the draft with a top 6 pick and get a Breece Hall or a Saquon Barkley or somebody like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel you. I'm probably going to keep JT, but I got some ideas. We'll talk about that after. But check out these wide receivers. We got CD. We got the Sun God. We got, I know you hate that, Garrett Wilson, Zay Jones, Campbell, Peoples-Jones, Hinton, Collins, Tony, and Mooney. What do you think about the wide receivers?
Oh, phenomenal. Probably as good as it gets for dynasty purposes. When you're talking about CD, Amon-Ra, Garrett Wilson, even Zay Jones is really solid. He's
Say Sun God. Just
No,
say
I'm
Sun
not.
God.
I'm saying what his name is. Amon-Ra St. Brown. So your top 3 are phenomenal. And I see a Nico Collins down there. I see a Kadarius Toney down there. I know Mooney had the injury, but he started to look a little better with Justin Fields' development. So your wide receiver room is probably as good as it gets for dynasty purposes. Now, that doesn't mean you can't go out and upgrade. You know what I mean? But I don't really think you have any major issues. And you're only starting 2 of these guys plus a flex.
Mm-hmm.
You're gold right now.
DJ, what up? No, we're not only talking Dynasty. We're just doing this Dynasty roster review, probably a little bit longer. We'll finish this up. And then, yeah, we're open for fantasy
Business. Open
so,
for
yeah, I
business.
mean, you can come hang out, throw some questions in there. And as soon as we're done with this, we'll get to all the regular fantasy stuff as soon as we're done with this. But, yeah, I mean, I love CD, Sun God, Garrett Wilson. Awesome there. For me, untouchable guys on your roster. And that's basically your 2 wide receivers and your flex almost, you can say. But I do have some ideas, of course. But anyway, Zay Jones, yeah, good to have. Campbell, you can hold on to. Peoples-Jones, of course, hold on to. Hinton, you can drop his ass. I mean, in this format, he's just not worth anything. Nico, you could hold on to. He's interesting. Tony, you could hold on to. He's a name and he's interesting. And Mooney, you can hold on to too, I guess, but not really worth much in this kind of format. So yeah, love the wide receivers there.
Yeah, 100%.
Tight ends, he's got Goddard, Everett, Taysom, and Jelani Woods. What do you think about those?
It's pretty solid. I know Dallas Goedert's coming off the injury, but he just got activated. And as long as he's running out there with Jalen Hurts, he's got to be at least in the top, 7, 8 tight ends out there. And pretty good when you're talking about consistency. So for this team, Dallas Goedert is fucking rock solid, and I love it. And even having Gerald Everett to go as well in case Goddard gets hurt. Now you got a guy playing with Justin Herbert. You can't go wrong there. And then Taysom Hill. He's got some really good depth at tight end. This tight end room is probably as good as it gets too when I look at it.
Yeah, definitely. And then in the taxis, how do you have Russell Gage in the taxi?
Yeah, how does that work? Kenneth Gainwell?
I'm not sure how your taxi works. Typically, it's for the first and second year rookies, but I'm not sure, I guess, how yours works. If it's different in yours, let me know. I'm not sure if you're watching right now.
It probably works the same, but you could probably just put anybody there for a couple of years, whatever.
Maybe
I would imagine.
maybe you can put anybody there for 1 or 2 years or something like that. I don't know. But anyway, let us know. I'll probably clip this anyway and post a separate one. This way, we have our own kind of roster review separate as well. But anyway, overall, obviously, great team. You're in first place, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly. And hopefully you can get this ship. I'm guessing you had this first round bye, so you were okay when JT went down. So you just plug McKinnon right in there, and call it a day.
Now, would you? I know McKinnon's been the hotter guy, but would you play? Would you struggle with playing Bam Knight or McKinnon in these playoff games?
No, I mean Bam Knight just had a kind of shit game. I don't know if that was just what happened or if that had to do with fucking Zach Wilson. I'm guessing they probably just loaded up the box and were like, okay, Zach Wilson, you beat us. I'm not sure. I didn't really watch, much into that. But yeah, I'm more comfortable playing McKinnon because I think the floor is really good for McKinnon. Where Knight, we just saw that floor. So
Mm-hmm.
McKinnon's floor is, we're talking about half PPR is probably, 6 to 8 points between, his rushing and some
And his
passing,
ceiling could be 25, 30.
even more than that, as we've seen. But yeah, so yeah, I would definitely play McKinnon there. So, all right, overall, Hammer, what moves would you recommend to make in the offseason? I have a few ideas and I'll bounce them off you too, but let me know what
The
you think there. And DJ, we appreciate you, brother. But yeah, load them bad boys up and we will get you. But yeah, throw them in there. But go ahead, Hammer. What kind of moves do you think you would make here
Yeah,
in
I
the
think the
offseason?
only the
If
only
any,
thing
if any.
Yeah, the only thing, and I'll preface my, analysis with I wouldn't make a move just for the sake of making a move. You know what I mean? I know a lot of teams get very antsy. We have a particular guy in our dynasty league who gets very antsy and just makes trades to make trades. So, first and foremost, don't make a trade just for the sake of making a trade. Always make a trade with the idea and have a plan too. What do I need? What kind of, who am I targeting? Am I targeting specific players? Am I targeting a specific team? So have a plan, before you go in and make a trade. But the only thing here really would be maybe to offload a guy like Jacobs or JT or Brees Hall and just see what you can get. I'm not necessarily saying make a trade, but see what you can get, see what their value is, see what people are willing to give you. And if you get blown away with, say, 2 first-round picks and something else, then hey, fuck it, maybe I'll do it. Maybe, like I said, a first-round pick and Kyle Pitts for whatever, or a first-round pick and I don't know, maybe you probably won't get a T Higgins, but something along those lines. You know what I mean? But so that's really the only thing I would do in terms of just putting it out there just to see what I could get. But other than that, the team is rock solid at every position, even the running back position, but there still are some question marks. Obviously with Brees Hall, we talked about the injury, and then obviously with Josh Jacobs, where he will be next year.
I like it. I mean, there's a few things that I would do. I mean, you got a lot of wide receiver depth. And again, in this kind of format, you don't really need all of that. So you can try and consolidate that to get somebody of a higher tier, right? Especially coming right after the season. I wouldn't trade JT just because his value isn't going to be as high and you're not going to get, what you should out of him. He's still a great RB. He had some injuries this year, but he's still top 5 dynasty RB, right? Josh Jacobs is the one I've been trying to get rid of. We don't know where he's going to go next year, if he's going to re-sign, but the value is perceived, at least right now, very high.
It
So
probably won't get any higher than it is now.
it's at its peak. So right after this season, if you can trade Jacobs, I think you should absolutely do that. Now you have Brees Hall, you have JT. In this particular format, I like having I would like to have more RBs because it's so important that if one of your RBs goes down, you need to plug in something good because there's only a limited amount of positions that you're playing here. You're gonna have a major disadvantage if you got to play, some scrub off the waivers, or you got to play White, with Jacobs or Abdullah, so, or even McKinnon, which isn't bad right now, but next year it's not going to be the same, obviously. So if you can move Jacobs, would see if you can try and get Bijan. I don't know how crazy people are about the picks and the rookies or how new this is to everybody in Dynasty, but if you can trade Jacobs and something else, or you can actually start in your wide receiver room, right? So can we trade Peoples Jones and Tony for first round pick?
That's asking a lot.
And is it after, Peoples Jones is kind of doing his thing, or if he continues to do his thing, and then you got Tony is the very much name, or even Zay Jones? Can you trade any combination of those guys?
You're
And
talking about Jacobs and Zay Jones
no,
or
no, no,
people?
no, just wide receiver. So I'm talking about Zay Jones, Campbell, Peoples Jones, Nico Collins, Tony, and even Mooney. Any combination of those guys with maybe a second round pick or a third round pick, and say, hey, can I get you late first? You know what I mean? So now you're giving up some guys that actually have production, so that that guy doesn't have to, guess on a pick. Okay. And I want the pick just for the value. Now I want to take Jacobs in that first, and I want to say, hey, can I get the 101? I'll give you the proven running back and the first round pick. And you can combine even a wide receiver in there as well, just to kind of, just to spice it up. So then going into next season, you got Bijan, JT, and Brees Hall. So you've got 3 RBs that you've got, and then you got CD, Sun God, and Garrett Wilson. I like that idea, or some combination of that idea, to try and get, a first that you can use to pair that to jump up, because we want to get the best, right? Can you trade, can you get that first from any of those combination of guys, and then trade Garrett Wilson and that first for, another top guy, a JJ, a Chase, a Waddle, maybe. Who else is that there, Hammer? Help me out
T.
here.
Higgins.
T.
You could throw T. Higgins in there.
I don't got my ranking.
I mean, he's got three really good, fairly young guys that we always say for target.
No, of course, and you can use that to your advantage. So if you can get some, if you can use, those picks and some of those wide receivers to just try and get off and get some even higher guys with you, or more elite guys, because that's what you want here, is just the elite guys. But you definitely want to get have at least those 3 solid running backs. But I would definitely try and come off with Jacobs if you could. Go ahead, AJ Brown. What were you gonna
AJ
say?
Brown. Yeah,
Yeah,
AJ Brown.
any one of those guys. Let me pull up my thing here so at least I can see this. Yeah, I mean, even a DK, I guess, wouldn't even be bad. But again, you're fine, with Wilson, Sungod, and CD, if that's what it is.
Like if this was a 3 wide receiver start, you would just dominate even that much more.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously, you're going to start one of those wide receivers in your flex, so you're kind of still making use of those top 3 guys. But man, that would be it's a really good wide receiver room. And listen, even Zay Jones and Peoples Jones, that's about as good as you could get at the flex position. Wide receiver 4 flex position for this particular team. So the depth is really good, and the production. Usually, a flex guy is you can't really count on him for anything you get as a bonus. But if you're rolling Zay Jones or Peoples Jones out there, you're probably dominating that position.
Yeah, so if you can move off these guys right after the season while the hype is still up, and people, need flexes, or might value these guys in some kind of way. If people don't value the picks, I mean, know your league and know the GMs in your league. If it's first starting up, people really might not value, these picks. This is going into, what is this, going into the first year of the rookie draft for you? I think you said you drafted this team this year, if I'm not mistaken. So, try and take advantage of that, and try and move up. Because like I said, if you can move off of Jacobs and grab a Bijan, and you've got Bijan, JT, and Brees Hall, you've got 3 top 5 dynasty running backs there. You'll be absolutely dominating if you're able to just keep CD, Sun God, and Garrett Wilson. Like, you can always find some other flexes and stuff, or guys you can find for depth. But in this format, just get some studs and leave it at that,
Which he already has a couple to begin with.
Yep. If you want to try and tear up from go dirt, you can try and do that. You know, having the advantage at tight end is always going to be good, especially in this. So, you know, you can always move up from go dirt as well, but I wouldn't focus on that. I would more focus on, you know, moving off from Jacobs and that kind of and that uncertainty, and the miles, and just, you know, and try and take advantage of somebody. But yeah, I think that's all we got here. I mean, bottom line, you've got a great team regardless. But you know, there's always moves to make, especially in the off season. But anything else you want to say about this, Hammer?
No, not really. Like I said, overall, if I had to actually put a grade on it, I'd probably go in somewhere in the A- range, just because you
Oh, yeah.
have young, really, really talented guys, and you have you have assets that people would take. You know what I mean? People would take Justin Fields. People will take Lamar Jackson. People will take, Josh Jacobs. People will take Jonathan Taylor. So, like I said, don't make a move just to make a move, but see what's out there first. Review your options. Put it out there, like you said, in the off season, which is the perfect time. Like you said, especially for a guy like Josh Jacobs, who I love particularly. I have him on 2 of my teams, including my Dynasty team as well. And he's just been basically found gold, because I thought he was going to be my RB2 all season. If he would have averaged like 12 to 14 points a game, I would have been happy. It turns out he's RB1, RB2, somewhere in that range, leading the league in rushing. So the point you make is the best, where his value is never going to be higher. And even for me, like I said, I'm in the exact same situation. It will be hard for me to trade a guy like that, but for the value you're probably going to get for him, it's probably going to be worth it over the next 1, 2, 3 years, whatever you get in return.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But anyway, Jack, I mean, you made a great trade getting CD Lamb. So just want to point that out again.
Hell yeah.
But thanks for sending in your roster. For everyone else out there, you can send in your rosters. Just check in the description. Our email is there, dynastylife, the number 4, ever@gmail.com. Send in a Dynasty roster. Let us know all the contact, the format, you know, what picks you have, any trades that you made, any trades that you think you might want to make, or, you know, any kind of context, any questions that you have. Make sure you give us as much as possible. But appreciate you, Jack. All right, guys, let's get into the up and now. Jackson said he might as well rest his dudes for round 2. I guess you're in one of those 2-round playoffs. I want to personally say fuck you to Amari Cooper and Miles Sanders.
It'd be like that.
Yeah, the Miles Sanders was trippy. I don't know what was going on there. They just were not handing him the ball. I don't know. It was just weird. Amari, I mean, did okay, but not good enough. I mean, Watson is slowly trying to come back into form. It might take a little bit. We might not see it till next year, to be honest. I mean,
I agree with that.
You know,
a full off season now to work.
The
with
guy
his
hasn't
guys.
played in a long time, you know, and there was a lot of shit that was going on that, you know, fucks with your head and shit. So special fuck you to JT. He might be the most bitch-made player in the league. Yeah, we say about that now. And listen, you know, if you went into the season and, you know, you were scared, CMC always gets hurt, and if you pick CMC this year at number 1, you're happy.
It worked out.
You know, so going into next year, I would say, you know, don't fade JT. It's still CMC before him, but I'm just saying, don't fade JT just because, you know, he got hurt this year. He's still, you know, a 20
realistically, you wouldn't pick him with the 10. At what pick would you have to be at before you said, okay, I can't let him get past this pick? 5, 6, 7, 8.
Would I say I can't let him get past this pick?
Yeah, like if you were,
I would say anything past like 104, maybe.
4.
No, even. What do you mean? I wouldn't let him get past that. I mean, once I got to like the 105, I'm like, and if I had the 105 pick and he's still there, I'm absolutely taking him.
And we're talking about redraft, no?
Yeah.
So you would take Jonathan Taylor over Derrick Henry redraft?
Yes.
Okay.
Next year, yeah, I will. It's just about time for Henry. I'm not. I don't.
What about Chubb?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I was just curious.
The only ones I wouldn't take him over would be like CMC, JJ. maybe even Chase. That's close. It just depends how you want to play it.
Barkley, you taking him over Barkley?
Barkley would be close. That would be close. That would be close. I might have to go Saquon just because of the pass catching. But even still, I mean that's really close. So yeah, I mean within the first 5 picks, I mean he shouldn't really go past that. I wouldn't think, unless some other shit happens after the season. But yeah, I mean he was the number one going into this year. He's still gonna be the guy. He didn't have a major injury or anything like that. So
But do you think how they? Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's weird because I don't, another year, especially we see these running backs. You know what I mean? It makes me nervous just in terms of the workload, how much they use him, et cetera, et cetera. So it's tough trying to project those running backs that are third, fourth year in with a ton of mileage. You know what I mean? Like a Josh Jacobs.
yeah, well Taylor doesn't have a ton of mileage though. I mean, where's Taylor at? Yeah, I mean he don't got a ton of mileage. He had. Why can't I see the whole thing here? Okay, here we go. So yeah, I mean 2 years, 3. This is going into his 4th year, but he's only 23 years old. So he's still got a couple years till you got to worry. Once you hit that
Fourth,
26,
fifth year.
but even now, once you hit that like 26-year age, but even now, like we've seen, some of these running backs are lasting a little bit longer than usual. I mean,
Well,
but
because
you can say that's just the elite RBs, I guess, right?
well, I think that's also too because a lot of these teams always have that third down receiving guy, or at least a second guy that they spell, just in terms of not having a running back go for 300 carries. They want to keep it to 200 and under, so this way the mileage doesn't wear him out by that third or fourth year. So I think that's another reason why is a lot of these guys. Listen, it's only really, we talk about this all the time, really 5, maybe 6 on any given year, true 3-down guys.
There's not many. There's not
That's what I'm
many. I
saying.
mean, JT is one of those guys. He's not in passing situations, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But he's still, he's one of the few workhorses that's still left, in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
DJ loading them up. All right, DJ, here we go. Full PPR. Lamar, if out, looks like he is going to play. Do you pick up Minshew? It does look like Hurts is going to play too, but Darnold or Zach Wilson, leaning Minshew because I got AJ Brown, also Monty, ETN with Herbert, Herbert, Herbert post active. If McSorley starts, do you play the outlier RB over D Hop? I think I like Minshew just because he has the best offense. I don't know. He can sling it. He's one of those fucking funny gunslingers. I don't know if you can trust Darnold. Wilson, I don't think did horrible, but I don't know if we can trust him either. What about you, Hammer? What do you think? Who do you think you should pick up here?
Well, it's tricky because if Jalen Hurts does play, then Minshew's out.
Well, yeah, then you can't. Yeah, obviously. Yeah.
So that's a big deal. I guess it's Zach Wilson. I mean, who did the Jets play this week? It's not the Lions.
I don't know. I'm not even in it right now.
I think they played the Jaguars, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they played Jacksonville.
Did I?
Why am I looking at last week like an idiot? Yes, the Jets played Jacksonville. What the fuck is it? Yeah, on Thursday. So if you do decide to play Zach Wilson, you kind of got to make that decision kind of now.
Yeah.
Which honestly, it hamstrings you a little bit because if you decide you want to play Zach Wilson, you can't really wait because then if if Jalen Hurts does play, that takes Minshew out of it. Zach Wilson's already played. Then you kind of have to play Sam Darnold. So now the timing of everything, because remember now we have Saturday games. So
Darnold
now
got the Lions.
Darnold has the Lions, but then the Eagles play after that. So you can't really afford to wait on Minshew at this point. You would have to play Zach. You would have to play Zach Wilson, or you would have to play Sam Darnold. And if you play Zach Wilson, you got to play him on Thursday night. So you're in a little bit of a pickle, really, in terms of the scheduling, how that all breaks down.
Yeah, just follow up with everything tomorrow. What comes out about, practicing and stuff like that. See what they say about Lamar. So at least you got the latest update, and then you can kind of make a decision. I mean, listen, Stevenson was a guy that was game time, and a lot of people were in a bind. Even myself in one league, I had to play Chuba Hubbard because that was my only other option, and he played the 1:00 game, and I couldn't wait for the 4:00 game.
That's right.
So, and then he wound up turning out playing, but we've seen, a bunch of times where these guys, get hurt in warm-ups or tweak shit, and then they don't play, and it's just rough. Do you really want to,
take that risk
chance
in the playoffs?
The one thing with Lamar is is it a hammy? I forgot what's Lamar's thing. I forgot what it is. Something with his leg, so it's going to affect his running, and that's basically what you have, where he gets all the extra upside from. So he's got nobody to throw the ball to, absolutely nobody.
PCL in his knee.
Yeah, so that's going to be rough for him. I don't know how much is he going to be able to actually like run and escape and stuff like that. So even Lamar is kind of risky. I mean, I'm sure if he's going to play, he can somewhat run. So it's just a matter of, do you want to take the risk and think he's going to actually play? Is he not going to screw you before the game?
It's not. It's still risky.
What about Huntley?
He was terrible, dude.
I mean, he was, but if you're gonna take the risk on Lamar, at least if you get Huntley, you can take the chance to wait.
Yeah,
and just say, fuck it, I guess I'm rolling with Huntley if it's not,
And they are playing the Falcons.
So, but yeah, I would just, give it some news. Wait till tomorrow, even Thursday morning. What's today? Tuesday, right? So yeah, wait till Thursday morning. If anything, wait till you see who practices and what they're saying, and just take it from there, bro. DJ said, I want to get into Dynasty. Looks very entertaining as a long-term approach to this fantasy stuff. It is, absolutely, and it's extremely fun. Like, you're the actual GM of your team. You have the same team every single year. Like, that's your team. So you've got to trade things. You've got picks. So you got to start getting into the rookies a little bit and knowing, who's coming up, and who's being picked in the draft and what that means and how that pertains to Dynasty. So...
And it's a year-round dedication. Like,
and
it really is.
Year-round, and it's a year-round thing. So, Justin, what up, Justin? Appreciate you, brother. Justin won. All right, brother. There you go.
That's what I'm talking about. Yes, sir.
Huntley scored just fine. Yeah, I know. But if you want to take the chance on Lamar, it just depends how risky you want to get, honestly.
But that's the dilemma, because of the scheduling and how the scheduling works out, which I just outlined, is that if you do want to take a chance on Lamar, you have to have Huntley. Like, if you're set on, listen, I may have to play Lamar, then you have to go pick up Huntley, and he has to be an option, because you have to decide by Thursday if you're going to play Zach Wilson. If you don't play Zach Wilson, he's out. You can't take the chance on Minshew because the Eagles play later, and then it's really Sam Darnold or Huntley/Lamar at that point.
You're correct on JT. What was it that we were correct about on JT, Justin? Remind me. I don't remember.
I think you might have been talking about that. JT was a bitch. I think he might have been responding to that.
DJ, let me get to the rest of this. Sorry, bro. I won my week by 1.8. Because my opponent had Christian Watson, and I swear Rodgers was trying to screw me towards the end. Bro, he just kept throwing the short, like, little underneath behind the line of scrimmage type things, like across, just sweeps, like, almost.
And if Christian Watson would have recognized the play call from Aaron Rodgers, that would have been a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
But I did have Christian Watson. I was actually on the other end of that.
Oh, I know what play you're talking about. Rodgers gave him the fucking sign. He was like, bro. He was like, we're doing it, bro. We're doing it. And Christian Watson was like, I'm a rookie, and I'm going to fuck you, Aaron.
Yeah, but listen, Christian Watson's been really good. I can't get mad at him. He had some nice
No, it was.
plays, and that was I knew once the Packers got ahead, that was going to turn into an Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon game. It was just that simple. Once they were up by double digits, they were just going to run the ball till the game was over.
Yeah, rushing attempts, but he got. Oh yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
DJ said Latavius has been weirdly productive at his age. He has been, I mean, for a while. I mean, he's not rushing for over 1,000 yards. He's not like the lead 3-down back or anything. I mean, right now he kind of is. I mean, they're hitting Mac in there on third down and passing down situations sometimes too. But yeah, I mean, he's a solid back that can run. I mean, what do you think about Latavius, Hammer?
Yeah, he's okay. He's kind of been actually roller coaster. Because I know last week he wasn't that good. This week he was great. And the thing with Latavius is he hasn't had to be a primary back, so he doesn't have the mileage like a lot of these other guys, like a Josh Jacobs, like a GT, like a Derrick Henry, so he's probably a little more fresher than those guys. And even when he was quote unquote a lead back, when he was with the Raiders or, in his early days, he still wasn't even a true lead guy. He always had somebody behind him. So he, even though he's a little bit older in terms of age, he doesn't have as many miles as his age would suggest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, he was the lead guy for Oakland, and then Minnesota. He was not really the lead guy, but
That's what I'm saying.
First and second. So he only had over 200 carries in 2 seasons. So, but yeah, he's still around. Like Hammer said, he doesn't really have the mileage of some of these, upper echelon kind of RBs. So he is lasting longer than normal. But again, he's not having, top 10 season or anything like that. He's just playing decently. He's giving you a good floor, giving you
And also too, and also too, we talked about he's getting the volume at this point in this particular situation, which makes him a valuable commodity at a position that's hard to find consistent, 15, 18 carry kind of guys. So
yeah. DJ said, feel that got to be decisive on this one. Wait till I hear
yeah.
some.
Yeah.
Absolutely, bro.
Yeah.
Barely made it through, but respect. I agree with y'all opinion. Yeah, man. Listen,
That's what we
we're
do.
not always right, but we can give you some good opinions.
What we try to do.
Austin said, should I pick up Moss, Deion Jackson, or Mason? What you got? Hammer. Moss, Deion Jackson, or Mason?
So it's funny. I was watching this morning while I was trying to do some work, but I got distracted because Fantasy Football Live was on ESPN, and obviously I'm locked in. It's going to be Zach Moss just because of the volume. He doesn't get much in the passing game, which does concern me. I think there was something they said that since Zach Moss got to the Colts, he hasn't had a single catch. So he's going to limit you there, but he's going to be the first and second down guy, and I would imagine the goal line guy as well. So from that standpoint alone, I know it's not a high volume offense, but from that standpoint alone, I'm going to go Zach Moss. Now, if you're in a full PPR, maybe you could sway me to Deion Jackson just because he gets some of the receiving work. So it really depends on the format here. If it's a half PPR or just standard no PPR, Zach Moss. If it's half PPR or full PPR, you could take a look at Deion Jackson.
Yeah. I was gonna say PPR, maybe a little bit different, but it was surprising to see Moss get the majority of the carries. Was that because they want Moss to be the main first and second down guy now that JT got hurt, or was that because they were up 33-0 and they needed to hand the ball off a million times to try and?
I just think they're that. I think they're that type of team. They're just built that way.
But then again, now next week they've got the Chargers. So, do you like Deion Jackson or do you like Zach Moss next week?
Like I said, it depends on the format.
Full if PPR. You're telling me, I guess most people are playing full PPR. Is this full PPR, Justin? Let us know. But let's say it's full PPR. What you got?
I probably lean Deion Jackson. Yeah, just because, listen, if Zach Moss gets you whatever, just say he gets you 15 carries for 70 yards, but no catches, right? And Deion Jackson gets you, say, another 8 carries for 30 yards, but he gives you 5 catches on 6 targets for 40 yards or something like that. Deion Jackson's going to give you the higher upside if it's a PPR league.
Yeah, I agree. I'll take Moss non-PPR and Deion Jackson in PPR. DJ said, "What were your thoughts on ETN Montgomery full PPR? I meant if Khalil Herbert is possibly active, does that switch things? I was leaning Monty for the matchup and recent volume." ETN had a very
He had a good game.
how do I say it? A very
Interesting.
very like silent good game. Like you didn't
Yeah,
really know like
I'm
what he
aware
did.
because I went against him in Dynasty in the playoffs this week, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Like you didn't really see him like doing
Break
things. He
off.
just
No.
did it. It was very quiet, I guess is the word. Very quietly he had himself a good
Well,
game.
19 carries for 103. So he's averaging about 5 yards a clip there. But it wasn't anything like crazy in terms of like 40-yard gain and he didn't get a touchdown, which, I mean, listen, you'll take the 100 yards. But this is a tough one, to be honest with you, because I think ETN is the better back. But Monty has been getting the volume with Khalil Herbert out. So that's a tough one. But Monty had a good game. He had a rushing and a receiving touchdown, which was really nice to see if you obviously played him, in your fantasy lineup. So that's kind of a 50-50 deal for me, to be honest with you. The Jacksonville's really starting to kick it into gear offensively.
Yeah. Who's ETN got next week?
ETN has. Yeah, he does. Yep.
He's got kind of a tough matchup. You got
So does Montgomery, Buffalo.
Monty against Buffalo, but they've been able to be had a little bit, I guess.
Yeah, no Von Miller.
No, it's going to be the first game back for Herbert. I mean, Monty's been good. He's been scoring touchdowns. He's been getting, targets. He's been getting receptions. I think I still, I don't know if I like Monty better or ETN. I think Monty, just because he's more involved in the pass game, probably gives you a better floor.
I mean, ETN did have 4. Oh, he did have 2 catches on 3 targets.
He did. They set up a couple screens, but that's the thing with ETN is that all that upside that we kind of baked into him is like he hasn't been getting that receiving work that we all thought he would, and that really kind of makes him up into those top, into that top tier. So, he hasn't really been getting.
And it's
that.
weird. It's weird because ever since he's become basically the main running back, so basically week 7 and on, it's like it's flip-flopped. Like he's getting all the carries, but none of the receiving work now, which is crazy.
And it's not like they're getting down to the 1-yard line where they got to bang shit in either. So
no, Trevor Lawrence is slinging it all over the place.
I think I'm going to take Monty even against Buffalo because even in a bad game script, like Monty's still going to be involved. It is going to be Herbert's first game back. It's a really tough call, and I'm an ETN lover, but I think I'll just roll with the hot-handed Monty here to go against Buffalo in what could be a high-scoring game. And again, ETN is playing the Jets, so it's a little bit of a tough matchup. But yeah, what's your thoughts on that, Hammer?
That's really a tough one as well. But yeah, I think I'm leaning your way as well. And ETN wasn't very good before this game for the previous couple of games before that. Like he wasn't as good as you thought he would be. He had basically a bad month where he had 8 points, 0, 6, 3. So yeah, I'll lean Monty here.
Yeah, and even though Herbert's back, I mean, Monty's still the guy down at the goal line. Like Herbert's going to get a little bit of work, but Monty's still going to be the guy.
Does Justin Fields running scare you in terms of Monty's volume?
I guess it does a little bit, but he's still been pretty solid, especially lately. I mean,
only 12 carries last week, though.
got 3 touchdowns in the last 4 games. No, 4 touchdowns in the last 4 games. 2
I'm just
touchdowns.
saying. I'm just saying the volume in terms of like rushing attempts and targets.
I mean,
Targets is
yeah,
fine, but
it's all going to depend on the game script. They're not a great team, so I'm sure that has a ton to do with why he's not getting 20 plus carries, but he's still getting in fields as well. But he's still getting anywhere between looks like 14 and 17 carries. It looks like consistently. Plus he's getting some of the he's getting the passing game as well. So I still like it. It's not as great as I want it to be, of course, or as the ceiling isn't
but
as high as we want it to be,
but good enough to do damage.
but yeah, of course, absolutely. I mean, we've known David Montgomery isn't just he's a flat out RB2. We've always known that he is what he is. Great back, but he's an RB2. Is what he is. Marcos, what up, Marcos? Lost Hurts, Brady, Goff, Purdy, and Minshew available. Who are you rolling with? Thanks. I appreciate you, Marcos,
Ooh.
always. Yeah, who you rolling with, Hammer? Are you going with big time Timmy Jim Brady? Are you going with Jared Goff? Are you going with Rock the Glock Purdy? Are you going with the jockstrap King Minshew?
So it's so funny. I said Brock the Glock to Bagala today, and he almost fell off his chair. But listen, first things first. It sounds like Hurts is going to play.
Yeah, it does sound like Kurtz is going to play Marcos actually, but yeah, before you even get
So
into it,
so
the latest
because
was that he was going to play. Yeah.
because you have Hurts, I would just pick up Minshew and roll with one of the two. That's kind of the easiest route to go. Brady, you can't really trust. Goff is playing the Jets, and Purdy,
No, Goff
yeah.
just played the Jets.
Oh shit, that's right. Who do the Lions play? That's my bad.
They got Carolina, so it's not a bad matchup.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Um, but also too, we got to look at the schedules become a factor as well as we talk about because of the Thursday, the Saturday early games, and then the late games on Sunday. Yeah, I would just pick up Minshew, and then whoever plays between those two, I would play.
I don't mind picking up Brady. I mean, he's been decent actually.
He's playing
I don't know
Arizona.
if yeah, he is playing Arizona. I don't know unless they go up by a bunch, but I don't know. Maybe just yeah. I mean, like I said, Hurts. It looks like he is going to play, so roll with Hurts. And what time is that game? Can he wait to see if Hurts is definitely going to play? To play somebody else.
So the Eagles play Saturday at 4:30.
Okay. So you're
But
gonna know.
but the Lions, yeah. So the Lions play at 1 o'clock. San Francisco, I believe, plays on Sunday. No,
Carolina.
San Francisco plays Saturday at 4, and then
Oh yeah, Hurts don't play till 4:25. Shit.
Tom doesn't play till Sunday night. So I think Tom's out.
Yeah, I would use Tom. I would just if Hurts is playing, you play Hurts. If he doesn't go,
Play Minshew.
no, I would play Brady.
Really?
It's close, but Minshew hasn't played. I mean, as much as exciting as I am, that Minshew is gonna play. It's like I feel like Brady's a decent floor at least for you.
Against Arizona.
Yeah, I mean, you could rock with Minshew, but I don't know. X me again on Friday or Saturday. Let me see how I feel. Minshew might grow on me after I watch a couple highlights and it gets me fucking pumped.
That mustache with that long ass hair flopping around.
Yeah, but I think Hurts is actually going to play, so you might not even have to make that decision. But I'll tell you this: pick up Minshew for now, and then I'm sure nobody's going to pick up Brady. He'll probably still be sitting there. So worst comes to worst, you can always pick him up. Anything. DJ said he needs passing volume. Main reason he was dope in college. I agree. And what the fuck? Like Trevor Lawrence was the QB. Like what the fuck? Why isn't he feeding his boy? Yeah, the
Oh,
passing value would be
100%.
no brainer. Yep,
100%.
yep, definitely, bro. I agree with y'all. I'm from Chicago. I'd like to enjoy a Christmas Eve Montgomery showdown. Yeah, bro. Give me Monty, bro. Give me Monty. Lastly, to your best opinion, no problem, bro. You throw them all out here. Load them bad boys up. Who wins full PPR? Team one is Lamar or Minshew, Barkley, Monty, Diggs, AJ Brown, Ingram, Hopkins, Ravens, D, Dak, Eckler, Pollard, Ayuk, Kittle, Deontay. Yeah, I like the team one better. I'm guessing that's your team because since you asked about Monty, I like team one. What about you, Hammer?
Yeah, I mean, listen, dude, anything can happen on any given Sunday. So Dak can go out there and go nuclear. Tony Pollard can get you 30, potentially. Eckler's been really good. The problem is the wide receivers is the separation here, and that's why I would go with team one as well. Just because the receivers, Diggs and AJ Brown, are better than Pittman and Ayuk. So team one it is.
Yeah, unless Kittle gives you a 30 piece, you should be in decent shape. I mean, I don't. Do you have anybody else you could play other than Hopkins? Just asking. I don't know if you have a better option, but if this third string guy is the QB, I don't know. Like if you got a Garrett Wilson or something, like maybe that actually might be a better option. I don't know. Would you
He's
play
got the
Garrett
option.
Wilson over D Hop?
We
If
had this
if
question
if the
last week,
third
didn't we?
if the third stringer's playing, if Colt McCoy's playing, I think I'm still playing D Hop. But let's just say that third
Oh,
string. I don't
that's
even know his
right.
name. I don't even know his name. I forgot, but
His
he may start.
He was in there. Yeah, I'm playing Garrett Wilson if the third string is playing.
All right.
Yep, absolutely. I don't care
Yeah.
if Zach Wilson's playing. Zach Wilson can throw him the ball at least.
Yeah. DJ said, hopefully I can make it so I can sub ETN back in week 17 championship week against Houston. Yeah. I mean, listen, Houston's been playing good actually lately. So,
But you can still score against them.
but yeah, no, you definitely can. You don't think Eagles rest Hurts because of their spot and hold off till postseason?
It's weird. I think they want to lock down the postseason and then rest Hurts. You know? Yep.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I think
I
I
can't hear
don't
you.
know if they're ready.
Oh, there you go.
You hear me? Yeah, I don't know if they're ready to rest him just yet. And I don't think it's a situation where they don't play him at all. I think maybe they play him just a little bit. There's definitely a chance though. So I would definitely have a backup for uh I would definitely have a backup for championship week. Just in case. Just in case, you know. Just in case.
Yeah, I think the Eagles want to. I think the Eagles want to win this game against Dallas and then rest Hurts after that. I don't know if you could hear me. I think like you froze a little bit, but I
Yeah, I don't
think
know if that's
really,
you or me, but
yeah. So I think that's really the main. They're just trying to lock it up because then Hurts could basically rest for a month. Obviously, he practiced, blah blah blah. But I think they just want to lock everything up. They don't want to maybe lose 2 games without Hurts and then have to win. That week 18 game, whatever it may be, to lock everything up.
yeah, definitely. ETN could be that villain. Yeah, definitely. He plays Thursday.
Oh yeah, that's right. Playing the Jets.
Yeah, when does Hopkins? Yeah, Hopkins doesn't play till Sunday night. Shit. No, it's rough. What are you doing? You playing ETN or you playing Hopkins, Hammer?
I can't really hear you. It's like breaking up.
No.
Yeah, I hear you now. It's like going in and out.
Or somebody let me know out there if anything. But ETN or Hopkins?
Can you hear? I can see you a little bit. It's still like spotty.
Tell it is. It's Hammers or mine. I don't know.
I mean, my Wi-Fi router is right like there.
Yeah, so is mine. It's right here.
That's weird.
I don't know. It's just fucking technology.
Yeah,
All right.
I,
Eat
I can
again.
I can hear you now. Maybe not. No idea what's going on.
What in the fuck? I mean, I'm not getting anything that's saying anything on my end, but I don't know.
We good?
Answer it quick before it goes out again.
What's the question?
ETN or D Hop?
ETN.
Boom. Hammer spoken. Yeah, I think you might just want to play it safe with ETN because if that third string guy is playing, I don't know, bro.
Could be tough.
DJ's laughing. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck's going on here.
Yeah, it's
Let me
weird.
know what y'all. Let me know what you're seeing on that end, DJ. Hopefully, it's better now. Seems to be. Fucking routers and shit. But yeah. Any other questions, guys? Throw them out there. But all right, what do you think about what happened on Sunday?
I mean, it was a crazy game. It was a crazy week, I should say. Overall, that Raiders Patriots game was bananas.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck they were thinking. They didn't come out and say anything about why they did that, did they? I didn't see them say anything. I don't know
No.
if you caught anything that. No.
So basically, Jacoby Myers just came out and said he was trying to make a play. He was trying to be a hero, and he messed up. That's basically what he said. I'm like, bruh.
Why do you have to be a hero? Just take it to overtime. You're risking. Oh god.
He either got caught up in the moment or he didn't know the score.
That's true too. Maybe he didn't know that they were five. But all right, if Colt McCoy starts, is it Hopkins over ETN?
That's still tough.
The problem is you're not gonna know. You're probably not gonna know
Yeah, because the
unless they come out and say it like tomorrow or Thursday morning.
right, and the Cardinals don't play till Sunday night, which is the
That's
problem. And the Jaguars play Thursday. So you're probably better off just going with ETN in this situation. And the schedules now become a factor in terms of making the decisions on these guys that you're going to play. So you probably the safe route is ETN. I know he's playing the Jets, but the Jaguars have played well.
yeah, that's true. DJ, no problem, brother. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. But yeah, Patriots Raiders game was kind of crazy. Stevenson winds up, questionable going in, game time decision, and busts off a $170 deuce.
Yeah, he had a hell of a game. Um,
Easton.
I know you probably talked about it on Saturday night, which was the Vikings Colts game. That was what the fuck. That was absolutely bananas
Oh yeah,
as
that was
well.
the Saturday one. Yeah.
So that was crazy. The Bills.
But let's talk about just for 1 second the two defensive touchdowns the ref fucking robbed us of. I don't know if you
So,
saw
so
that. 2 fumbles.
no, I was actually doing a couple things on Saturday, so I didn't get to watch a ton of the Vikings game. I saw they were down early. I was actually at the mall or something with my aunt doing Christmas shopping. But I didn't really get to see a ton of that game. I saw basically the end of it. I saw the fourth quarter. So I saw, the crazy shit that happened with KJ Osborne and Thielen and Dalvin, and then obviously the overtime, which was just nuts. But yeah, that game was crazy. I didn't get to see, like I said, a lot of that first 3 quarters really. But those are the games that really stood out. Obviously, the Jaguars game stood out.
Yeah.
In terms of how well and how much progression we've seen over Trevor Lawrence. So that really stood out. And then also too, the Bengals just continue to roll, and they were down by 17 at Tampa. So the fact that the Bengals just basically didn't blink in the face of a 17-point deficit on the road going into the halftime and scored 34 in the second half and just wiped Tom Brady off the floor the Bengals are legit, and they're a legit Super Bowl threat once again in the AFC. So other than that, the Texans taking the Chiefs to overtime, that was a bit surprising.
Yeah, I mean, all of a sudden the Texans want to play ball the last couple
Right,
weeks.
right.
McKinnon went crazy. So if you played McKinnon, that took you,
Mhm.
probably got you the win. Like, he beat me.
Yeah, yeah.
But the crazy part is them running
McKinnon's
the
been
ball
playing
at the
well.
end. Like, even Andy Reid said, we trusted, McKinnon and not, we didn't go to Pat Mahomes to go for the win at the end. We handed it off like, I thought Patty was about to throw another TD and I was about to be hyped as fuck. Like, oh, we got another chance to throw a touchdown here and seal the game, and it wound up being fucking McKinnon running, which just pissed me the fuck off. It was just everything just went wrong. But anyway, yeah, McKinnon did his thing, Mahomes did his thing, Kelsey 10 for 105.
Yeah, that was bullshit. I went
So,
against Kelsey and
you know, but yeah, those were those games. Let's see what else was there. How about Ritter and his first start? He didn't look good really at
no,
all.
he didn't look. He didn't look good, but he didn't look terrible. I saw some things that were okay. One quick note from this game: I was in a pickle at the RB2 spot. No Jeff Wilson, no Damian Harris, no Kenyon Drake. I was forced to play Tyler Algier, and boy, did the fantasy gods ever pay dividends, dude. Tyler Algier had a hell of a game, and he was essentially the reason why I won my dynasty matchup. He goes 17 for $139 and a touchdown. Um, I loved all of that action, so that was big for me as well.
Yeah, a little surprising, I guess, but I mean, they gave it to the hot hand, I guess. He pulled it through. I mean, like you said on the Falcons side, I mean, Ritter did a couple good things, but he also did a couple just bad things that just didn't look good. But he
Which
did
is to
give
kind of be expected.
Greg London the football. So I'll give him that. I mean, I think it was like
Bro,
a 40% target share to Drake London, which I was
bro,
scared about going in. I wasn't
he had
sure.
he had 97 yards passing. Drake London had 70 of them.
That's what I'm saying. He had an insane target share. That part, of course, you love for Drake London, but I don't know. I don't think that Ritter is the future. I mean, they didn't really spend on him. They're most likely going to go elsewhere or get someone that can throw the ball at least a little bit better. Especially after spending the top picks on Pitts in London. I mean, how could you waste? You can't waste that. You got to get somebody
Hmm.
that at least can run the offense and throw the ball well.
But I mean, it was his first game against a tough
Yeah.
Saints defense, and they had a respectable game. Like it wasn't a crazy, it wasn't a crazy blowout. I don't remember. Give me a second. I don't remember if he turned it over.
Yeah, London had a fumble. Oh, Ritter, you talking
No,
about?
Ritter. Yeah, Ritter. He didn't turn it over. So, and listen, the stat line isn't going to blow you away. But he didn't turn it over, and I think that's an important, critical element for rookies or second year guys. So he didn't turn it over, which is good.
London 11 targets. It's what you like to see. At least they're trying to get him the football. What do we do? Lions, Jets. That was a crazy game too. So that was overtime, right? Or no? It was at the
No,
end of the end of the
um,
game.
yeah, Zerline missed the field goal
So
to tie it.
so yeah, the end of the game now. Lions get the ball, and I'm like, all right, they got a whole field to go. They got to score, so they got to throw the ball. I'm like, all right, Amon Ra can get some work here, and they throw this little tight end, little.
And
I
he
don't
takes
even.
it to the
I
house.
don't know if it was a screen or a little, like a fake block, and then he rolled out. I don't remember exactly what had happened, but he just took the shit all the way to the house, and I'm like, bro, what the fuck? Like this dude. So anyway, that was just one of the players that scored that nobody needed to score. I mean, Goff got the touchdown, so good for him. But
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, Bam Knight was bad, didn't do anything. Zach Wilson was okay. He did make a throw that was close to what we saw in the combine on that crazy throw that he made,
Mm-hmm.
which was kind of funny. But
I mean, he did have over 300, but the critical thing with him is
Caddy,
just caddy. The critical thing with Zach Wilson is the goddamn turnovers and how bad they look.
Caddy, what up, Caddy? I just want to give you a shout out because you're always around, whether it is
Day, night, shadow,
whether it's
shade.
with us. Of course, we always appreciate you here, but you're always with me when I'm on Fantasy Football Network, which I'll actually be on tonight at 12 for an hour. So I'll be with them in a little bit. Or when I'm with 420 Fantasy Hustler, who I've been with, the past couple weeks now, hanging out and shit. But Caddy's always coming to chill. So just want to, appreciate you, Caddy. Much love. Caddy said 2 weeks away from the money. Full PPR. Who would you start at flex? DJ Moore versus Detroit or Garrett Wilson versus Jacksonville? It's gotta be Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, it's Garrett Wilson.
DJ Moore did have a touchdown, but he's just not getting the targets. He's not getting the looks right now. Garrett Wilson is
Awesome.
So yeah, I'll take Garrett.
Jesus, imagine, and I feel like we say this shit all the time. Imagine the Jets actually had a quarterback.
A lot of people, a lot of teams had a quarterback. I mean, a lot can change. Listen, we saw a crazy offseason last year with a lot of people moving. We don't know what's going to happen this year, but maybe some things come. Simp, what up, my guy? Hurts not likely to play. And then I heard he is going to play. So just you got to keep an eye on that because literally, like, what was it before we got on a couple hours ago? I was just talking about it. He actually came out in a press conference and said that he was going to play, which was just pretty recent. About to blow my fab to get Tua off waivers. Y'all think he will be better than Daniel Jones for the next couple of weeks? I mean, Tua's Tua, bro. I would much rather have.
I don't know. I'm not gonna rush to say because Tua hasn't been great the last couple of weeks.
He hasn't, but I mean, Jones hasn't either. See what Daniel's done.
Gives you a lot more to rushing upside. He wasn't great against Washington, obviously.
I mean, he does get rushing upside, but even still, he's not putting on. Let's see.
Yo, hold the phone. Daniel Jones is Daniel Jones is QB 11 in Dynasty in our Dynasty league. That's wild. I did not know that.
Let's see. Tua 22, 14, 17. Yeah, I feel like Tua's giving you like the ceiling almost of Jones, like it's just close. Like I think I'd rather just have the upside in Tua.
Yeah, I tend to agree.
All right, so this week he's going against Green Bay. So Tua's going against Green Bay this week. Let's look at it a little more deep there. So we got Tua at Green Bay. And who's Daniel Jones playing?
I think I just had him up.
Daniel Jones is playing Minnesota.
At Minnesota.
Minnesota's defense is bad, but the passing defense is a lot worse. So I don't know if that necessarily upticks Daniel Jones because he's not, the passing isn't really his strength, and they don't really have any wide receivers. And he just had a shit game against Washington, which has a pretty good D line, which we can say Minnesota has a good D line as well. I'm gonna go Tua still. I'm not taking a chance on Daniel Jones here. What about you, Hammer? What you doing?
Yeah, as much as I talk my shit, I'm still going with Tua. I just can't.
Do you have to blow your fab though? I mean, is there anybody else that needs?
What is fab
that
though?
needs a QB? So fab is like they give you like money, they give you dollars. So instead of waivers like being just random, you put in a bid, you put in a fab. Like, okay, I'm gonna spend $20 fab. You get like $150 for the year. Let's just say every league is different, and it's like, okay, you have that to bid on for the whole season. So, when it's time and, Kenneth Walker was out there on waivers, everyone's blowing their fab on him, or, when you get injuries happen, you just, you got to use your fab. So, and then it can also be used in trades as well. You can trade somebody fab dollars.
It's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first year that I've done anything with. I think I was in 2 leagues that had Fab. So yeah, but, yeah, I'll blow it on Tua if I got to, bro. We get 200 for the year. I got 95 left. Was thinking at least 6. Yeah, you got plenty left, and I mean, depending who else do you have on your team? Like, do you think you'll need to spend anything else? You know, there's only one more week after this week anyway. So, do you think you'll have to spend something for championship week, or is this it? So, yeah, I would use most of it if you need to, especially if someone else out there needs a QB as well. I definitely want to lock up Tua. Buddy. Now I have no Stevenson because I traded him for JT. That's right. You lost JT. Shit. Basically lost a player. Do you think I should try and trade for him back? First off, you can still make trades right now in the playoffs? Like, that would be my first question. I mean, absolutely. If you could trade for him back, hell yeah. But I mean, who's going to trade him or trade him back in this case? Especially if it's a playoff. Unless it's a non-playoff team and you can trade a non-playoff team. I don't know how that works in your league.
Which sounds crazy.
Yeah. So, I don't know. But yeah, I definitely try and trade for him if you could. Man. Otherwise, is McKinnon out there? I don't know.
Yeah, McKinnon could work.
Yeah. He said they might veto. Yeah, I mean, you might be fucked out of it. Who's your other options? Who can you play at RB instead of JT?
That's a tough situation to be in, dog.
That's some other option there. Let's see. Cardinals, Broncos, Latavius Murray obviously had himself a day. He was decent, 7 for 76. Take that. Cardinals had just nothing going on. Couldn't do a damn thing.
Connor's still pretty good, pretty productive.
What did Connor do?
He had another touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, 16 for 63. Like we said, I mean, he's the only RB they got. He's going to get the ball. So hopefully he listened to us and played Connor.
Bro, another 16 and a half. Yeah, bro.
As much as I hate him, we've been saying to play Connor,
Yeah, since week 10. So that's 1, 2, 3. So that's 5 games. He has 6 touchdowns in his last 5 games. That'll work.
Simp. What to do with Swift and Jamal this weekend? Picked up Deion Jackson. Can't decide to put him in flex over Swift or Williams. Also have Burks I could plug in. Get lucky. I'm lucky with getting McKinnon. Are you automatically playing McKinnon, or are you saying that he's an option here? Let me know. I'm off to Jamal Williams. Go ahead. What'd you say, Hammer?
Is Treylon Burks back?
Yeah, he should be this week. He didn't play last week, but he should be back this week. So I do like.
Oh, he practiced. He practiced in full. So.
But yeah, good. I'm off the Jamal train because his ceiling is literally like 10 points. I mean, and yeah, that's you praying that he gets a touchdown. So right. I'm okay with not playing Jamal. I'm good with playing Swift. What about you, Hammer?
Yeah, I agree, and I think that they're going to look to get Swift a little more involved because they have a playoff shot now. So I think they were smart with how they played it, where Swift didn't burn him out and get him injured again, which is why he hasn't really had any injury concerns since he came back. But I do think they will try and ramp up Swift a little more because he is the higher upside guy, especially now that they have a shot at the playoffs. So Swift has to be the play here.
Yeah. Oh, he said a few weeks ago. So he's got CMC. Okay. He's got CMC and McKinnon at running back. This is okay. I read it wrong, I guess. This is the flex question. So he's got Swift in there. Now he said he picked up Deion Jackson. He can't decide if he should put him in flex over Swift or Williams. Also have Burks I could plug in. Got lucky with McKinnon. So it's basically Swift, Williams, or Burks or Deion Jackson. It's not Deion Jackson, right? Yeah, I mean, it's not Deion Jackson. We can pretty much rule him out with Zach Moss getting a lot of carries last game. We don't know exactly what's going to happen there, right?
I feel like it's got to be Swift.
Yeah. I think we're both in agreement there that it's got to be Swift over everybody else. Burks, Williams, and Jackson. So yeah,
And the Lions have a solid matchup.
We like Swift. Swift, Jackson, but yeah, we like Swift. We like Swift. Addy said the full trade package was Stevenson, Hollywood for JT, Pacheco, and Sutton.
I remember this. Yeah, that's tough.
I remember.
That's tough.
But yeah, guys, thanks for tuning in. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe if you haven't already. Throw them last questions out there before we're ready to get off. But yeah, I think we pretty much went over almost all the shit that happened. The Giants and Commanders, that was, I don't know what the refs were doing in a couple of these calls that happened, but it is what it is. Giants wound up coming out on top. But should have been a touchdown for the Commanders, no?
Yeah. That was bull jive.
Yeah, and then there was a big pass interference they didn't call either, where the Giants guy was draped all over. I think it was Curtis Samuel, if I'm not in the end zone.
That was
no
crazy.
flag, just great. Just couple calls. I think they kind of missed there, but yeah. You got anything else, Hammer? About this week that just passed? Or
No.
going into this week.
Well, going into this week, I do have a couple of different things. I'm kind of looking forward now that the heart attack of the first round is behind me. Now I have two teams going. I had the bye in my home league, so I am ready to roll there. But the Dynasty situation is, do I roll out Algier again? Or do I Jeff Wilson?
Yeah.
I
Definitely.
guess. I don't know.
You guess.
I don't know.
Algier just went off, and Wilson ain't getting all the work. Mostert looked good last game, right?
That's what I'm saying.
So yeah, you gotta play Algier.
So that's my RB. That's my RB2 situation. And then for my flex, do I play Demarcus Robinson? Do I play Mac Hollins? I'm not rolling Hunter Renfrow out there. I'm not doing that. Or do I play KJ Osborne? And keep in mind, I have Thielen as one of my wide receivers.
Tell me the last ones again. It was Mac Hollins.
So right now, my flex.
Demarcus Robinson. But what did Renfrow do last game? He played last game, right? Didn't he have a couple catches?
Yeah, but he one catch for 14 yards. Mac Hollins had four on 8 targets for 40 and a touchdown.
Yeah, Mac Hollins has been
solid. Yeah, and I have Demarcus Robinson and KJ Osborne.
He's bummed. KJ was an anomaly. They were down by fucking 30 points. They threw a ton of passes. And we've seen what KJ consistently does, which is not much. So
not great.
In my humble ass opinion, I would say to go with Mac Hollins.
Yeah, I mean, I think, but what's his name got hurt today as well? Ooh. Duvernay
hasn't done jack shit. I'm not worried about Duvernay. Demarcus Robinson had one anomaly game, maybe 2.
No, he's been okay. I mean, I do like the offense of the Raiders a little bit better, but the Raiders are playing. Who are the Raiders playing this week? I just played New England. They're at Pittsburgh.
So
I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah, I'm playing. I like Mac. Who do you got in now?
Demarcus Robinson.
Titans D, Eagles D, or should I get Cleveland or Denver? Damn, I don't know who's playing.
I wouldn't play Eagles D against the Cowboys.
Yeah, we wouldn't play Eagles against the Cowboys. That you're not doing. So rule that out. You've got the Texans. You've got Cleveland at Saint. Oh no. Well, they're at Cleveland. Saints at Cleveland. Then you've got Denver at the Rams. I like Denver.
Mm-hmm.
they're pretty much the best matchup, and they've been a solid defense all year, regardless of who they played. So I think I'm gonna roll with Denver here. Just play them against the shittier offense. You know. What do
Yeah,
you
I
think?
tend to agree.
Yeah. All right. Cool. You gonna be around for Friday, Hammer?
Yep.
All right. Yeah, we'll make sure we're on Friday because obviously we've got the big games coming up Saturday and Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll be here for y'all on Friday. I guess we won't do a Saturday one. Are you gonna be out or?
Saturday night. Oh, it's fucking Christmas Eve, bro.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. That's why
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
asking.
I'm gonna be out.
All right. I mean, if I ain't doing nothing, maybe I'll hop on. But yeah. Other than that, thanks guys for tuning in. Throw any last second questions in the chat. Appreciate y'all as always. I'll wait another 30 seconds here to see if something pops up. But
Pop off, nigga, pop off.
just don't forget about the subscriber Christmas giveaway. Every time you tune in, you get an entry. So
Oh,
Simp,
hell
Caddy, I
yeah.
mean, you guys have been here a few times, so you want this Tua card,
Come get it.
let you know on Christmas. DJ, Marcos, Justin, everybody that tuned in today. But yeah. Hey guys, we out of here. We'll see y'all on Friday. Make sure you hit us in the DMs on Instagram, Dynasty Life Fantasy, if you have any last second questions regarding Thursday's matchups, if you got to play somebody or whatever the case is, any last minute
And get her
starting
done.
sits, Dynasty stuff, whatever we hear. Simp, no problem, brother. We always appreciate you.
Mm-hmm.
Come check us out on Friday, brother. All right, boys and girls, ladies and gents.
Get
Later.
those wins.